Recruiter here, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. The resume we have up first is, I don't know, you've committed a giant resume sin. Especially for software engineers. This goes for everybody, but primarily for software engineers, is you need to pick a stack. You did not tell me what stack you are. Are there more stacks than full stack, backend Python, backend Java, or backend C# and front end? Yes. Yes, there are. But these are the 5 most common, and if your resume is not tailored to one of these stacks for a software engineer, well, you're probably going to get yeeted and deleted, because that is how they hire. And are there any language agnostic roles is your next question? And yeah, there are, but they're rare. I'm telling you, they're very, very rare. So let me roll a D6 to see what one this is, and that's what I will review it as, because the qualifications is different for all of them. That landed on a 3, so I'm going to review this as if it was a Java developer. Are they a Java developer? Well, I don't know, but that's the problem. You did not tell me. So let's find out what is the problem. Also, this person said I think they get like 0 interviews, so this is not a good resume. So for a Java developer, what we are going to need is this: Java, Spring, Spring Boot, SQL, RESTful APIs, microservices, OOP, Git, other APIs, Maven, Cloud, Architecting, SDLC, MongoDB, and extra credit for any of those things. So can I find those in 20 seconds, which is all the time a recruiter has? Let's find out. And, oh gosh, this formatting is awful. Start. Okay, Python and PySpark. Again, I'm not looking for that, or ETL. LangChain, not looking for that. I mean, it's a little bit of AI, so it's okay. APIs is fine, and AWS is, but I don't care about 99% uptime. And, oh, here it is, Java. Yeah, this would be yeeted and deleted. So, what did this person write me? But yes, this is a terrible resume. I am an international student. Okay, so your resume needs to be perfect then. An international person is going to have literally about 100 times harder searching for a job. And I know this because I've made people's resumes and they've used the same ones when they are international and not international. And the international ones need about 10 times more applications. Let's say 10 times, 100 times is an exaggeration, but 10 times more applications. Like a solid ratio of international students would be like a 1 in 75 to 1 in 100. But this is a bad resume even if you weren't an international. So 2 things can be true. 1, being an international is hurting your job chances. And 2, your resume does suck. It does. This is an awful, awful resume. So, I'm currently applying for full-time roles as a software engineer full stack. Well, I wouldn't know that. You did not tell me. I have applied to over 200 jobs over the past month and have had 0 interviews. Yeah, that does not shock me. Previously applied to over 1,000 jobs for a summer internship, but only got 2 interviews and avoided one of it. I am lost on why my resume is not getting picked. So, I'm here to give you tough love. I want to tell you this. Your resume is not a reflection of you. Your resume, though, is awful and is disgusting and needs to be burned. Your resume tells me almost nothing I need. So what I'm looking for, you stated full stack. So let me give the full stack qualifications up. The full stack qualifications are this right here. So again, degree is the same. TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node.js, Angular, Next.js, GraphQL, SQL, API, RESTful API, Cloud, Agile, CSD, cross-functionally, .NET, and all those other stuff. And if you notice this, I have almost none of those. So first off, summaries don't matter. Second off, it looks like you didn't go to college, except I imagine you did, and it's all the way at the bottom. Yeah, it is. It's all the way at the bottom. Yeah, that needs to be up at the top. So you need to burn this resume and start again, right? You need to throw this in the trash and start over from scratch. Because you have filled this resume with things that I just don't care about as a recruiter, and a hiring manager would not care about. So what you need to do, this is, that was from the previous one, you can ignore that. This is the resume format you need to use. It is on my website. It is free. The link is below. This is how you do it. This is easy to read, okay? So just on a formatting perspective, this resume fails because this is a nightmare to read. This is a giant wall of text. I have 20 seconds. I am not going to be able to read all of that. Then we get into the problem with the bullet points, okay? So this is not counting the formatting where, again, education needs to be here and the summary needs to be deleted. Is when I'm looking for a full stack, I'm looking for this. So designed Python and PySpark. Okay, that's fine. ETL, I don't really care about that much, but at least it tells me what you did. And then you say that cleaned, normalized, and joined transcript data with stock prices. I don't care about that part. I don't care that it reduced manual prep time. LangChain is nice. It's AI based, especially for like agentic and stuff. But again, that's like a bonus point. Where is the TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML? You have done the equivalent, and I'm using a food metaphor, is I'm asking you for food, right? I'm coming up to you and saying, hey, I am Lee, SR, can you give me a hamburger? And you say, okay, Lee, coming right up. Let me give you that hamburger. So you go in, you prepare it, wait 30 minutes for however long it takes you to make a hamburger, and then you bring it to me, and then you bring me a giant plate of spaghetti with mustard on the side. And I say, what is this? And you said, well, that's a spaghetti reduction of hamburger of bolognese. And I'm like, I want a hamburger, no cheese. So you go back and then you give me sushi. And I'm like, what is this? And you say, well, I put hamburger meat inside the sushi and I wrapped it up into like ketchup and mustard. I'm like, I just want a hamburger. And that is what you did, is you overcomplicated this. So while it is nice to have LangChain, while it is nice to maybe have a little bit of fast API, what I'm basically looking for is this stuff. And as a full stack software engineer, you have nothing of what I need on the full stack besides just Python and AWS. And this is not like searching for keywords. This is qualifications. And what a qualification is the what, which could be considered a keyword, how you used it, which you kind of tell me, and the reason or result of you using it, which you brag instead of telling me what I need. So optimize front-end performance with denounced filters, concurrent API calls, and modular React components, cutting load times by 35% and improving user satisfaction score in client testing is a garbage sentence. That tells me nothing I need. You know how what would be better if you just said created the front end using JavaScript, CSS, HTML, using RESTful APIs and React to improve our load times. That would be 1,000 times better than what you have. Because this is junk. This is a bunch of random words jumbled together, and you're missing the point. It needs to be simple. So that's all I can do for this resume. If you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And please like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends that need help or family that need a job, because make no mistake, we are in a recession, and it is very difficult to get a job right now. So you are going to need all the help you can get. But for everybody else, we're going to the next resume. This is the resume of a full stack software developer, which we already got the qualifications for. So can I find it again in 20 seconds? And go. Okay. Perfect formatting, end-to-end document upload. That's not really, okay. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, full stack university. So AWS Simplify, and then RESTful API and Java Spring Boot. It's not bad. Also, this is the second time I'm reviewing this and recording this because I messed up on the recording. So the first time I reviewed this, I only got down to here, which is pretty solid. This is why you want this formatting, is, again, you can read farther. But a problem with this is they only really have about 50% of what I need, when I need is 75 to move them forward. And how they wrote this was a little odd. So when you're putting your tech stack needs to be upfront. And this does not read enough full stack, right? So I want to see built a secure document sharing platform using using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and React, and then the rest of it, and Node.js. Because right now you don't want to bury it down here in case they're skipping. And then down here, the only thing I really need is AWS, but you ruined it by putting AWS Amplify. And there's a problem, is that may not be AWS. Now, I know what you're thinking is, what the heck are you talking about, Lee? But if Java is different than JavaScript, and by golly it is, and if you as a recruiter ever mix those up, heaven help you, you've lost all credibility with an engineer, then it is entirely probable that AWS Amplify may not be just like AWS cloud services. So you need to be very specific. And then also, I don't really care about DynamoDB or AppSync or Cognito. Maybe DynamoDB. Maybe. But the rest of them, I don't think I would. So that's that problem. So let me read what they wrote, which is, I have 6 years of experience in software engineering. I'm an F1 OPT. Heaven help you, because of the new governmental rule changes. It has been absolutely nightmarish for that. Let's see. Graduated master continuous data. I've been searching for a full-time job and have applied to 800 positions, but I've only received 2 interviews and was rejected after both. Yeah, this is not still a good resume. Again, the formatting's fine, but the bullet points are not. I've been iterating on my resume to improve my chances, and after watching your videos, I created a new version based on your instructions. I would appreciate you to take a look. Thank you for your time and help. Best regards, their full name, which I'm not saying. So yeah, a big issue with this, and they are in my chat, so I'm going to help them out after this. They're in my Twitch chat. But is you kind of imply you've used these things, you don't really show it directly, and you kind of bury it. And this entire sentence could be half as long and still get the same amount of point. And this has nothing I need besides AWS. And then we go down here, and again, you kind of don't say anything I need until the very end of it. Like, this is the important part. This stuff gives context for how you did it, but this is the important part. Also, I don't think I see SQL. So let me see what stuff I'm missing first. So we have the degree, good. I don't know if I saw TypeScript. Yeah, okay, I didn't get that far down. TypeScript should be up front. They love that. JavaScript, HTML, and CSS I found. Ooh, sorry. Node I did see, which is good. Angular, there it is. Again, I didn't get quite that far down. GraphQL or Next, no, but that's okay. SQL, yeah, again, all the way down there. Agile, again, all the way down there. I did see Cloud, but again, you kind of ruined it because you put Amplify. And do I have cross-functional? So again, you kind of have what we need, and I would say if this was a market where we were in, I'd say 2018, pre-COVID, you would probably get a ton of interviews with this. The problem is we only have 20 seconds, and in those 20 seconds, you kind of buried what you did deep within these bullet points when you need to show them within the first line of the first bullet point of each of them. So I want you to go back. You don't have to delete these and, redo all of it, but you're going to have to go back and then explicitly say what you worked on in the very first part. So again, is this the worst resume ever? No, but as an international, your chances are very low, and you need an absolute perfect resume to get past. So this, because you're just not that many opportunities, and they are extra strict. So again, to reiterate, you're kind of burying the lead. But I'm going to help you now on Twitch. Everybody else, we're going to the next resume. This is not the resume we are reviewing. This person resubmitted their resume. This was their previous one, and they said originally that I put unknown as the application to interview ratio, as I'm getting 0 interviews. I have applied to over 1,000 positions. So this resume is garbage, and they've applied to over 1,000 resumes and gotten 0 interviews. But they submitted an updated one of applying my advice for a full stack developer. So this is what it was previously, which I am scanning, and oh my gosh, it has almost nothing I want for a full stack. Like, it has Kotlin. Again, that is good for Android. Like, they really do want a lot of Kotlin. But everything else is bad. So this is their old resume, and this is their new one. So let's see what they did and if they fixed it, because they are now looking for a full stack software engineer. Also, quick lore, I actually auditioned for the position of McLovin in Superbad when I was 17, I think. Did not get it, but I did audition for it. So let's see, can I find what I need for a full stack in 20 seconds? Let's go. And boop. All right, 5-person team, Scrum and Agile is good. Again, I don't have that. API, local node, MS. Okay, good. AWS backend servers, HTML, JavaScript assist. Next.js server hosting, design a scalable cloud using AWS. Okay, so I could not move you forward with this, but it is much better than the previous version. So here's primarily the reason why. It's actually mostly this. So when I'm looking for full stack, right, let's see what I found. So there's nothing but Agile here. Because again, if you're writing a resume for an Android developer position, it's going to be different. What an Android developer wants is going to be different than a full stack developer wants. And I think I actually have the qualifications for an Android. Yes, Android developer. So for an Android developer, what we want is this stuff, right? Android, Kotlin, which they did have, so good. MVVM or MVI, Git UI, Jetpack Compose, Hilt, Dagger, cross-functional REST API. So if you notice, they don't have that. They only have Kotlin and Android, which is good, but they need more. So this would not qualify for an Android developer. But for full stack, this entire thing is almost not needed, right? The only thing I see is Agile. So I would prefer you to instead probably put this at the bottom, unless this is the only place you've put it, RESTful API and Node and SQL. Because the order of importance of work history and projects and internships is relevancy first, right? Relevancy first. It does not matter if it is a full-time job you've had for 8 years if you have nothing that's relevant. But once it's relevancy first, and then it is work experience, internships, projects. So this has a little bit of, well, relevancy. So if anything, I would just delete this, put the Agile down here, and then you've got a really solid first bullet point. It's not that, it doesn't tell me enough about it, but at least it's, good enough for me to use forward in the qualifications. Then we go down to here. And again, you kind of did what the other person did, is I want to see this up first. If your stack should be in the very first part of a sentence, right? Built a real-time multiplayer game using, in fact, I think you should say built a web application using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, not Tailwind, just CSS, in an AWS, and Next.js in an AWS environment, right? For a multiplayer game. That would be enough. That's how I want you to say it. And then the rest of this you don't need because, again, you already said Next.js. You set it up here. And then, again, you already said it here. I need some other bullet points. You don't want to repeat the same one in the same project or internship or job. So it's good to have RESTful API here. In fact, it's good to have AWS here, right? And AWS, say, here. But you don't want to have AWS here and AWS here. So don't repeat it in the same job. You do want to repeat it in other jobs, though. So again, is this the worst resume ever? No, but this is much improved from your previous one. I actually like what you're doing here, and I don't think it'll take you more than 30 minutes to an hour to fix this up, and then you should start getting offers once the new year happens, since, well, we're, at the time of recording, this is November 28th, and in November, December, recruitment basically shuts down, so you're not really going to have any luck regardless of what you do until the new year. So that's all I can do for this one. Again, does this pass? No, but it's a lot closer and should not take too much work. Next, resume. This is a resume of a data analytics intern. And, well, you want what you want for every other intern, right? You want the degree, you want a basic knowledge of whatever the industry is, which in this case is SQL, Python, data tools like Pandas, NumPy, Excel, VBAs, macros, pivot tables, and maybe Power BI or something. I need to see that you can work well with others and that you can take direction and criticism, and that's it. Everybody always overcomplicates their internship resume. They try to add these thousands upon thousands of things, and I'm like, I'm not looking for a leader. I'm looking for how you were led, because that is your job as an intern, is to learn. So, can I find it in 20 seconds? Let's find out. All right. Ew, gross. Can't use anything here. Okay, fine. Software development intern, cloud database, Python and SQL. Okay, but I don't care about the metrics. This actually has some of the stuff I need. Okay, I don't care about this. Predictive model, sensor flow, and that's a yeet. So, this person did some things right and some things wrong. One, you actually wrote most of the qualifications that I need, right? Power BI, Tableau, SQL, Python. I would have liked Excel. The problem is you ruined it by putting these numbers. Like, if you literally just said, examine customer behavior pattern using Python, SQL, Tableau, and Power BI, to identify engagement metrics or retention metrics, that would have been 1,000% better than, well, 40% retention or 100 clients. Stop putting percentages in everything. You do not want those. Unless you're a manager or you're in sales, you should not have any percentages. In fact, can I find how many darn percentages there are in this? Let's find out. There are 14. They should all be gone. And the achievements you should probably keep. Those are pretty cool. But yeah, so there's like 14 of these. These make your resume worse. Stop with the percentages and stop with the numbers. And then you also don't tell me how you, well, were led or took criticism or worked well with others. You, as an intern, are going to have to work with other people. This may be your first one, and that is important to know. Although you have worked at a bunch of other internships, so they may assume you have that. But let's see. So you're finding for data interns at college sophomore. Yeah. Again, so remove this. I don't need anything here. Keep this to one line. Keep this to one line. I don't want it bolded. I want nothing bolded here, and I don't want any of these numbers. And then add something about how you worked well together with others and took direction and criticism, and you're going to be golden. But your resume is filled with a bunch of junk. Again, I don't need these numbers. Everybody thinks impact is numbers and percentages. It is not. That is random words that mean nothing. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of, again, I don't know. You didn't tell me. So we're going to roll a D6. Whatever it lands on, that's what I'm going to review this as. If you are a software engineer, please pick a stack. Otherwise, we're going to review it for whatever that is. That's a 5. So we're reviewing this as a front-end developer. What we need for a front-end developer is is JavaScript, React, AngularJS, HTML, CSS, PHP, SQL, Scrum, Agile, RESTful APIs, SEO, Git, Docker, Jira, Node.js, Vue. Next. So can we find it? Let's find out. And go. Don't need anything here. Don't need that. Optimize, nothing here. Okay. Don't care about this. Nothing. Java. Also, this formatting is a nightmare to read. I just see Java. And that's it. This is not a front-end developer. You are yeeted and deleted. Now, again, you may be saying this is not a front-end developer. This is a Java developer. Well, tough. You need to specify what you're going for. It doesn't have to be in the resume, but when you submit it to me, you do need to. I assume maybe this is a Java developer, so let me get my Java qualifications up. But I imagine, from what I even saw, they didn't have that either. This is a very bad resume. They also did not tell me anything besides that their ratio is over 150 to 1, which is, again, how many applications it takes to get an interview. So I assume it's very bad. So this is the stuff I'd want for a Java developer. Can I find this? No, I can't because I just did it. So again, I don't care about your coursework. This is unrelated. Nothing here. I can see nothing here. Java and microservices. Okay, good. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. And then Java and that's it. Yeah, so you'd be yeeted and deleted. So this is what I need to do. Like, this is not the stuff I care about. Like, candidates keep trying to show impact by putting, like, this stuff, but I just need to see what you've done. Impact is created a back end in Java using X and Y to reduce latency of users. That's impact. That's it. That's as simple as that. But this is not. Like, created a risk-based authenticated system for firm's account recreation flow, implementing Java microservices, that part at least is good. They categorize users into risk cohorts and streamline reactivation process for users, reducing customer support escalations by 75%. It's nothing. So nobody wants that. And I'm not saying it's not impressive. I'm not saying the manager may not like it, but when you're looking for a software engineer, you are looking for something specific. And that is not specific. That is very broad and confusing. And I would challenge you, people at home, to find a job that actually says, we need you to reactivate our accounts flow that categorize users into risk cohorts. I don't think you can find it because it doesn't exist. I need this stuff. That's it. That's basic. Also, your formatting is atrocious. This is an absolute nightmare to read. So stick to this formatting because it's actually legible. This is not. and then actually have good bullet points. Although, like, I'm skimming the rest of these, and you will need to redo all of this because there's just nothing worth saving in this resume. You have submitted an almost blank piece of paper. The only thing I know is that you graduated college, which is good, and that you use Java microservices. Everything else is irrelevant. The rest of this is blank. I am aware that there's a lot here, but this is blank. So that's all I can do for this resume. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends and family that need help. I am here to help you all get jobs because we are in a recession. And if anybody ever needs more help, they can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/@headlessheadhunter or whatever. Twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. You can find me. And for everybody else, I'll see you all in the next video.